Hey guys, I'm Drew Pizzulo and welcome to another episode of Watch Out. In this episode, we're actually going to be talking about the top 10 no-value brands. This is not a list you want to be on. This is basically saying if I buy a watch for several hundred or several $1,000s, I'm not going to get any more than $100 back. That's pretty bad. So let's get into that without further ado so I can pretty much inform you on why they just don't hold any value at all. Okay, number 10 on our list that we're going to have, you can pardon my writing here, but it is Stour. Okay, Stour is a watch brand that is basically a company that makes jewelry, and watches are a part of it. They're known for making watches that basically go with today's lines. They copy off a lot of different types of models. They go after Rolex, they go after Cartier, they go after a lot of different things. They put their name on it. But basically, because their movements and their parts are made in China, it just doesn't hold up well. They don't have too much value to them other than looks for dress pieces and costume watches. So Stour, you can spend up to $300, $400, $500, $600 on a watch, but you're not going to get anything more than about 30 or 40 bucks back on average. So just know that when you buy it, it's more to keep than to resell. Okay, number 9 on the list that we're going to get to today is a brand, again, everybody knows in the fashion world. And number 9, yeah, Michael Kors. Okay, Michael Kors, again, fashion brand, not known for their watches, even though when they came out about 7 to 10 years ago, they were really hot. I mean, God, in places like Macy's, places like JCPenney had them. You had even the higher end, Neiman Marcus, all of them had them for $350 to $500. But again, they're a fashion brand. They get all their stuff from China. Their watches break frequently, not good with water resistance. They're trendy with their looks. They have no value to them because they use a lot of gold-plated material, basically just stainless steel. There's no value in the actual materials that they're using either. So again, it's not like they have gold or they have silver or they have platinum in them. They have nothing. It's a fashion brand. Therefore, their watches, you can't get anything more than 30, 40 bucks for right now. Even if you were to buy one brand new, you're going to lose about 80 to 90% of the value. So that is in at number 9. Number 8, this is a trendy brand. I write it for you right here. And this brand was big for a hot minute and then went its own way. 7 Friday. 7 Friday was a brand that looked very unique when it came out. The parts are decent, and their look was very unique. They had revolving minutes. They had days of basically said 7 days a week, and I guess I don't know what Friday represents in their name, but they had very unique looking pieces. However, for some reason, the market just went and passed them by. They were the hot kid of the minute. Everybody liked their watches. Now, you can still go buy them for $400 or $500, but you're going to barely get 50 to 60 bucks back for it. So it was a brand, again, this is unlike Michael Kors and unlike Stour. They have decent parts to them, but just didn't go with the market. The market was more like a flash in the pan than anything else that you're going to find in today's market. Number 7, again, another fashion brand. I said I'd be getting a lot of these in this episode, and it holds true. Again, pardon my writing. Daniel Steiger. This is something where if you go to internationaltimepieces.com, they feature the name Daniel Steiger. Same thing as Stour, same thing as Michael Kors, uses a lot of Japanese and Chinese parts to it, therefore they don't really have any value to their timepieces, even though some of them are very trendy looking. You buy most of them at a heavily discounted price already. They tell you the MSRP is $900. It's on sale for $299, $399. Just a fashion watch, people. All it is just costume jewelry. You're really not buying anything more than the look, and therefore you're not going to get more than 30 to 40 bucks back on it when you try to go sell it. Okay, so we're going to go to number 5. Okay, this is a company that basically, I like to call this one of the brands on Shop NBC. It's a shopping channel brand, which is Oceanaut. Oceanaut, that's where they kind of like have their claim to fame, even though some of their parts are Swiss made. This is a brand that actually has some Swiss parts being made in some of their pieces, and some of their pieces can be quite expensive because of it. They can be, you've seen them even north of $1,000. However, it just doesn't hold value for some reason. Again, the watch marketplace has just passed them by and kind of left them in the dust. You can get basically used ones now for $60-$70. You're not going to get too much for it. Expect around a $50 to $70 return on most Oceanaut watches. It's just another brand that just didn't make it. It had its day, and now its day is gone. Okay, number 5. Now, number 5, pretty much, it has the name that everybody wants as its first name, but unfortunately, another home shopping channel brand that just didn't make it over the years, Swiss Legend. It has the name Swiss in it. Everybody wants to see Swiss in the name because it gives a good impression. However, most of their watches do not have Swiss parts. Some of them may have a Swiss movement or two, but it's mostly Japanese and Chinese parts in their watches. So don't expect for this brand to give you, I mean, they do even have divers watches, they have chronographs, they have all different types of stuff. But in terms of value, you're going to lose 80-90% right off the bat. And especially if you buy them new and somewhere on eBay they're listed at $400 or $500, you're barely going to get 30 to 40 bucks back on most of these pieces. If you're lucky, maybe 60 to 70. Just another home shopping brand that had its day, and most of them now are pretty much just left in the dust. Number 4, everybody has probably heard of. Okay, they are the kings of inflated MSRP and large watches. That is Invicta. Okay, Invicta, I did a search on eBay about a month ago. 90% to 95% of the watches that are available online on eBay were not selling north of $100. Everything is between $30 to $90. Doesn't matter what brand you have. And Invicta actually has some Swiss-made watches. They actually have some Valjoux movements and a couple of them. Every once in a while, they're able to give you a nice watch. Unfortunately, their brand, their reputation, and the size of most of these watches are just ginormous. And the market, I think, is more of a problem than their actual reputation for them. Nobody wants to wear a 52 millimeter watch. Most watches are 42 to 44 millimeters for men these days. They're way off the market line. They like to go high-end in terms of big wrists. Even some of their watches can go to 57, 58 millimeters, which is just obscene, and they know it. But because of it, they'll have like a $1,500 price point, and they sell it to you for $499, and it's worth $70. So yeah, it has some value, but nothing over $100, at least not to 90 to 95% of this brand. Number 3. Now, number 3, we start getting interesting in these last 3 watches. Number 3, I don't know how many people have heard of this brand. They have this brand and their GV2 series. It is Jevro. Unfortunate with this brand, because this brand actually has some decent type watches. I don't know if they really got their story straight in terms of their history. I think people are confused on if they are a Swiss brand, if they aren't a Swiss brand. It looks like they aren't. They're using a lot of different movements from a lot of different countries. But some of them do say Swiss made, and some of them do say Swiss movement, so they are getting some pieces that are Swiss. However, most of their pieces just aren't holding over $100. Normally, you're going to be getting them anywhere between $70 to $95 for this brand. But the problem with it is, most of the time when you're buying them from places like Touch of Modern, you're spending sometimes $600, $700, $800. Unless it's a real rare piece, you may get over $100. But in most cases, Jevro is just going to be around that $100 range. A little higher than the rest of these brands, but really no value. You're going to lose. There we go. You're going to lose most of your value once you buy, especially this brand. So just take a note of that. Number 2. These are my 2 unlucky brands, because I really don't understand why they don't do better than they actually do. They get pretty positive reviews to them, and again, they are real, but they just don't have the actual following that Review Thamen. I mean, this is another one that you'll find on places like touchofmodern.com, and they actually are a Swiss brand. Okay, this is a Swiss brand that does actually fairly well. It's been around for quite some time, and it just doesn't seem to have a lot of their models go over $100 on resale. Sometimes you don't do anything wrong. Sometimes the market just doesn't speak to a resale market, and this seems to be the case with Review Thamen. Even though it's listed as a Swiss brand, the more you dig into it, it does have a history, and they do make some really, really good watches. It's just they don't sell well in resale. So, and that's pretty much the same with our top brand here, which even has a bigger Swiss history than the rest, okay? And I don't know how many people have heard of this, but if you have one, I wouldn't be surprised. Louis Erard. Okay, this is a brand, again, has a Swiss history, goes back about over, let's say, 100 years. It was a watchmaker, has a whole line of history, and their watches are actually pretty unique. They got some pretty nice pieces. They have automatics, they have quartz, and they serve to a wide marketplace. And yeah, they do sell, but the resale value is awful. You're looking at 70-80%, again, off. You're right around that $100 mark. For most of their brands, they just don't sell above that, even though they'll cost you sometimes in the thousands. So it's just a brand to stay away from when it comes to buying them new. I would try to go, if you like this brand, I can see why you would, buy them used, because, at this point, most of their hit is taken after it goes into the secondary market. People just aren't buying this brand, and you're getting really no value out of it. So the top 2 brands are going to be around $100 for the most part when you buy any one of these watches, and sometimes Jevro as well. The others, forget it. You're not even close. I mean, most of them are around $70, $60, $50 for a resale. So just wanted to give you an update on 10 brands that just really have no value once they go on that second and third market. It's just not there. And sometimes that's just how it is for multiple different reasons. But again, do your own research. Let me know what you guys find out. Like, subscribe. I'm still working on getting the comments back posted on the page. So look forward to seeing everybody on our next episode of Watch Out.